Welcome back to Real Life Reviews, and in this video we're going to take a look at the Huub Varman Wetsuit, what you would probably refer to as a 3.5, and it is a 3.5 by thickness. Buoyancy control, helps you with your sinky legs and hips, wetsuit for open water swimming. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritties, first off, it's a Huub, and cards on the table. We're not sponsored by Huub here at Real Life Reviews, but we do love their products, and they've come up with some great kit, and we've worn the Archimedes 2 for a number of years now. So we're really excited by this wetsuit. Typically, it comes in really good packaging. The box is high quality, and I know it's the wetsuit, we want to be high quality, but the box is high quality, and the wetsuit comes with its own drawback. There are two key features about this wetsuit, and we'll go into a little bit more detail in a few moments. One is the innovative material, their plus 43 foam, which is more buoyant than Yamamoto neoprene, and two, the innovation of using a more arms neutral in the cut of the wetsuit. But before we go into real detail, let's just pop over there and have a look at the whole suit and just see what it looks like. So here's the wetsuit in its entirety, and the first thing is, I think it actually looks like a pretty damned good wetsuit. It looks good, and that's always a big help. From an innovation point of view, it's a little hard to see hung up on a coat hanger, but if we sort of zoom in a little, then you might start to get the idea of the arms being in a much more neutral position, although they're sort of held by the hanger here, and the arms themselves are dropping down. If we just zoom in on the name so that we can see a little bit more there, well, Huub Varman. It's a collaboration between Huub and two of the top tri-swimmers in the world, Richard Varga and Henri Schoeman. Varman. It's quite simple. I like it. It's a nice name. If we come down a little bit more, then we get to the hips, and we can see something that might sort of ring a few bells of the old exoskeleton of suits in the past, like the Archimedes. So we've got some body constriction and alignment assistance there. But the real pluses of this suit, the real bit about it is, if I zoom in here, plus 43, and if I move across the suit and go to these panels on the leg, again, there we are, plus 43. The indications of this new foam that Huub have developed, that is, they claim 43% more buoyant than standard neoprene. We've also got on these leg panels on the left a little bit more stiffness in there. So that's the suit as a whole suit. Let's now go back and look at a little bit more detail. So let's get down to the real nitty-gritty about this wetsuit, and it's there on the panel on the thighs, plus 43 foam. This suit is, if you were to categorize it, you put it straight into the 3.5 buoyancy support wetsuits, and it is a 3.5 wetsuit by thickness. This suit has been designed absolutely to maximize buoyancy in the hips and thighs. There is a 5mm rule, as I'm sure you're aware, in triathlon, and you cannot use neoprene thicker than 5mm, hence the 3.5, using 5 in the hips and thighs and 3 in the upper body to give you that little bit more of a tilt. Huub claim that this new foam, their plus 43 foam, is 43% more buoyant than standard neoprene. On testing, and we don't have the scientific backup to dispute that, but what we can say here at Real Life Reviews is that there is a noticeable lift in the hips and thighs relative to the Huub Archimedes 2 that we've had for a long time, and that's a 3.5 wetsuit. So have they achieved their goal? Yes, they have, absolutely. Is this neoprene, this plus 43 foam, is it 43% more buoyant than standard neoprene? I think we've got to trust Huub, and I do trust Huub. It is definitely, though, more buoyant. What is there that assists as well, though, is this panel on the side where you can see the, if I say ribbed, it's not physically ribbed, but by pattern, this rib bit is a bit more rigid than the rest of the neoprene. And I quite liked it. It made it a little bit harder to pull the suit on, but that's about being careful. And let's face it, in a triathlon, you're only taking the suit off quickly. Putting it on quickly isn't an issue. There are one or two. The Weekend Warrior at Blenheim, maybe, but no, it's not an issue putting it on quickly. So, yeah, we're a big fan of this Plus 43 foam. Now, the top quality Japanese Yamamoto neoprene is absolutely perfect for stretch and reach zones. So we're talking about the upper body here and the shoulders. And of course, this wetsuit still uses that top quality Yamamoto neoprene where it needs the stretch and the reach. And that leads us on to the second key feature. The first was the innovation of the design of the materials, the Plus 43 foam. And the second is that if I try to hold this suit in its more natural position, it has a very much a neutral arm layout, arm to shoulder layout. And what this does is it makes the whole catch and pull phase, I mean, yes, coming out over the water, but very much when you're into the catch and getting into that pull, it makes it a lot more efficient. There's a lot less resistance in the suit, and on a long swim, and let's face it, I tend to weight my reviewing to sort of half iron distance, the longer ones. On a long swim, it is very noticeable compared to something like the Archimedes 2. Compared to a Roka and the Maverick, it's quite similar. And some of you will know that Mavericks have cut their arms in an upward. Is it better than the Roka? Do you know what? My gut feeling is it is. So the neutral arms definitely works. So we have a more neutral and unrestricted catch and pull phase. We also have within the whole suit, and Huub have been great on this in the past with their exoskeleton systems, but Huub have worked on this with a complete body alignment and constrictor system. Again, it's really difficult because personally, when I wear a wetsuit, I do engage my core better anyway. Is this working? I'd like to think it is, and it's another innovation. It's not the top one. The top one's the Plus 43 foam, but this body alignment and constrictor system does appear to work. Now, just moving back to the foam a minute. I said, where do we categorise this? We categorise this as a 3-5 wetsuit. That's by thickness. But don't forget the 5mm thickness on this suit is the Plus 43 foam. So, relatively speaking, yes, we've got 3mm Yamamoto neoprene up here, 5mm 43 foam down there. But if we get the maths and the balance right, that in effect is giving us a 2-8. If we were to use, this is Huub's claims, and I've got nothing to dispute this. If we were to use standard neoprene, you would be looking at, in relative features, a 2-8 balance on buoyancy. That's what you would need to create. So, wow. What else can I tell you about this suit? Well, it uses Huub's Breakaway Zip System, which they've had in operation now for a number of years. It has its detractors. Personally, I love it. It's a really simple system. I don't know if they've changed the zip at all, but when you pull this zip up to the end of its proper zip line, it seems to have a more definite stop point. and that might just sway one or two of the detractors. The Breakaway Zip, I just think it is fantastic. When you finish your swim, you just tug up and across, and the whole thing just opens up and peels off your shoulders. I have never had a problem, and I've worn an Archimedes 2 in any number of swim situations where I've had to take my wetsuit off and do it quickly, and also put it on. So I've done the Blenheim Weekend Warrior a few times, and I'm constantly putting it on, no problem, taking it off, and taking it off at the end of an Ironman, at the end of a sprint. It's the same. It's pull across and it comes off really easily. I love the Breakaway Zip System, and one of the beauties of it is, if you're ever nervous and worried, I've not come across a swim start where there aren't people wearing Huub wetsuits, be they Archimedes, Agilis, you name it, and you can just turn around to them and say, because they know what the zip's like, can you just check it's done up properly to the top? Can you make sure I've not gone past it? Because we all do that, we know. It's a great zip system. Sizing, trust Huub's website, please. They've got a size guide. There are many sizes of wetsuit that Huub produce. There is the right size there for you. If in doubt, give them a call. Give them a call, tell them your dimensions and your weight, and say, you know, I have a long torso. But speak to them if you're not sure. Their sizing system is, I believe, spot on. I trust it. So, to sum up, what have we got here? We've quite possibly, I'll upgrade possibly to probably, we've probably got the best for the sinky leg swimmer buoyancy support wetsuit for open water swimming that's currently on the market. It's innovative in its materials with the plus 43 foam, and it does give a definite leg lift, hip and leg lift, and it works. The killer for me though, really, is the upper body. The lack of restriction there. That is really, really good. And I think almost the arms neutral bit outweighs the plus 43. But you've got them both in the same suit, so that is absolutely fantastic. One or two people have criticised the neckline, saying that it's a bit high, could be a little bit lower. I've never had a problem with necklines with any wetsuit, whether they're Huub or other makes at all. So that I'm not worried about. So overall, this is the suit that I'm going to be wearing in my next major competitions. No question about that at all. So if you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up and do share with your friends. If you'd like to buy one of these wetsuits, well, there's a link to Wiggle in the description down below. And the great thing about using that link is that a tiny percentage of what you spend goes to the channel and helps to keep it going. Not only that, at the time of filming, Wiggle have 24% off the Varman wetsuit. So pop along to Wiggle. If you've not yet subscribed, then click on the little picture down there, or you might want to visit our website just down there where we've got other affiliates. If you want to see another couple of videos, well, just up there we've got the review of the Huub Varman Buoyancy shorts, and up there the Huub Archimedes 2 wetsuit if you want to look back on that. So many thanks for watching, and hopefully see you again soon.